Hi everyone, I'm Willie Rose, and this is a video about my recent infographic project about racism in fashion, so let's get started. I started out with some research, just some basic stuff. I went to Jezebel.com and pulled some of their information about uh, the races of models during New York Fashion Week specifically. Found some really good information there, and found a few other sources that I thought were interesting but not quite as number heavy. So I decided just to move on, go straight to my photo shoot so that I could design the top of my infographic to look like a magazine cover. And this is the photo I ended up choosing. And I added some information on top of that. I only had one really real thing, and then I just copied it to kind of get the idea of the layout. And then I did a little bit more research, found some census information and added that on here. And went a little more in depth with my research from Jezebel. And then I continued and combined my research from the census and from Jezebel into this graph to show the difference between the actual New York population and the way that race was represented in New York Fashion Week. I then created little vector models to go with each different race and made a graph of what it would look like to have the what the numbers would have to look like if the models were accurate to actual New York population. I also added a quote from Beth Ann Hardison about racism in fashion and which companies needed to change, and I added my call to action and some sources down at the bottom, which I think are cut off right now. I took that to get reviewed by other people, and people liked it in general, but there was still some issues. I was missing one of my vector pieces, and the quote was just taking up too much space, and it wasn't very interesting. It was hard to read, and it was just kind of blocking up the flow. So I then followed up and made some changes. I changed my main font, as you can see with the title up here, and with the body copy. I also just took out the quote and did some of my own research. I watched Moschino, Alexander Wang, Marc Jacobs, Chanel, and Ralph Lauren's Fall Winter 2015-2016 shows, and tallied up all of the models that I saw on screen that the camera allowed me to focus on, and found that 3 out of the 4 models that all 5 of those designers were using were white. I also separated my call to action out a little bit so that it would be a little stronger looking and a little more interesting to look at. And here's my overall project. I thought it was difficult. It was definitely not the easiest thing I've ever done, but I learned a lot, and I realized I am now at a point where I can make very simple vector drawings without really much sketching beforehand and make them look pretty good. And I also really enjoy doing my own research as opposed to just using that quote that I had earlier from Beth Ann Hardison. So, I hope you enjoy my infographic, and thank you for watching.